DJ Draco here. Yeah, so this is my collection overview. So anyway, that is just what this video is going to be. This is the sci-fi fantasy section. I usually keep these movies like in one category together because they're all based around the same things in a way. You know, mythical creatures, aliens and stuff. It's all just myths and crap that we believe in. Alright, so as you guys know how it works, it goes the 3D versions, then the 2D, so let's get started. Avatar 3D, my favourite, well, at least in my top 5 favourite 3D Blu-Rays. And one of the first ones I ever bought. I think it was the first one I ever bought. Yeah, I think Avatar was. Beowulf 3D, I was so happy to find out this existed. I didn't think it did. And I remember getting this years ago, and I was just randomly looking online, and I was just typing in random films and adding 3D to the end of it to see if they existed, and this one did, and got it quite cheap, which made me happy, and it's really good. Avatar is full frame, by the way, and Beowulf is a letterbox. Conan the Barbarian, haven't seen it, but I know it's letterbox. I can't give it a verdict yet. The Darkest Hour, not the Winston Churchill movie, the Alien Sci-Fi 3D, which is letterbox and really good in-depth 3D. Doctor Who, The Day of the Doctor, the anniversary. I think it's the 50th anniversary special edition. Now see this, this film, well, feature length episode, but it's a film. Also, at least in my top 10 to top 15 3D Blu-rays, because this is just a fantastic visual display of full frame, in-depth and pop-out. It's just amazing. If you've seen this, but you've only seen it on like just standard TV or 2D screens, there's a scene where he looks at a Gallifreyan painting called The Fall of Gallifrey, and it's, when he looks at it, it's really far back and you get that nice in-depth feel. Drive Angry. This movie is how Nicolas Cage should have played Ghost Rider. If he had played Ghost Rider like this, Ghost Rider would have been a lot more lovable than it already is. Letterbox and the 3D is quite good. Ghostbusters Answer the Call. I'm one of the people out there who says, just give up on the bullshit about, oh, they shouldn't have done this because it's an all-female cast. It's not set in the same universe as the original Ghostbusters. Therefore, it's its own movie. It's not really a reboot or a remake. It's an alternate universe about, instead of it being men who found out about this and did this, women did instead. And I actually quite like it. I prefer the originals, but I like this movie. I was kind of hit and miss about the 3D for this first one. When I first bought this, I said it sucked and I couldn't notice the 3D. But recently, after getting more like high-speed cables and better systems, I found out that this the 3D effect is actually pretty good. It's letterbox, but you get that kind of over-screen thing sometimes. I don't like that as much, but I think it's pretty good. So yeah, it's just one of those movies that I kind of enjoyed. Another one I haven't seen, but Godzilla 3D, I haven't watched it yet. I need to. I know it's letterbox, and it looks good, so I know that as much. Gravity 3D. Oh, where can I even begin? One of my favourite movies that is just based on isolation in a way. The 3D for it though is fantastic. I'm pretty sure it's letterbox. I don't remember it being full frame. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's letterbox. But the 3D is still, yet again, just amazing. Harlock Space Pirate. This was recommended to me by Who recommended this? I think it was Roger. Someone in the 3D community recommended this. I'm pretty sure it was Roger. Yeah, recommended this to me about how good the 3D was. And yeah, again, letterbox, but yeah, you get some really good in-depth scenes. Pop out, not so much, but you don't need it. It's space exploration, and the problem with you don't want space to be pop out. You want it to be in depth, so you get the feeling as if you're in the stars, and you know that's what gives. I Frankenstein letterbox 3D is very mediocre. I'd say it's about 20% worth watching in 3D, but the rest of the movie, it's more of a 2D movie. But in the end, the only reason I bought this is because it was from Poundland, and I actually love this movie. Aaron Eckhart is becoming an actor that I'm quite appreciative of. Right. Jumper, full frame, 3D is the same as I Frankenstein. It's about 20% certain scenes worth watching. The rest of the movie is worth watching in 2D. It seems flat on certain scenes. Jurassic Park, one of the best 3D. I'm pretty sure it's a conversion, but it's just done so beautifully. And it's full frame, and you get nice in-depth and pop-out moments, 50-50 of each, so it's worth watching in general. Following up is Jurassic World. This is kind of a weird way to explain it because it's kind of full frame, but it's kind of letterbox as well. It's like it's not completely full frame, but the letterbox bars are like this big. They're very tiny, so it's more full frame. I don't know what happened with that, but amazing 50-50 3D. Kong Skull Island letterbox 3D is 100% fantastic. Yet again, you get both usages of in-depth and pop-out. And I'm sorry, but the 3D is the best way to watch that movie because it adds so much more. If you watch it in 2D, especially if you've got a 3D system and you still choose to watch it in 2D, you feel like you're losing out on so much of the movie. The Legend of Hercules, I am such a big fan of this movie. The 3D is 150% amazing in this. I don't know how that works, but it is. It's the best usages of in-depth and pop-out I've ever seen in any letterbox 3D. Now, I've given some letterbox 3D some good credit, but this beats all. This is reference quality. The Legend of Tarzan 3D. Now, this has letterbox and it's good 3D, but I feel like this is a kind of movie that you can watch. It's more watchable in 2D than it is in 3D. The 3D is just to give it that little bit of an extra woo. But it is a lot better to watch in 2D, to be honest. Pacific Rim, in my top 5. Amazing movie, amazing full frame 3D. Just 100% perfect. Pompeii, a new one that I got recently. I know it's letterbox, but it looks like it's freaking fantastic. Prometheus, a 3D Blu-ray that has been in and out of my collection over the past 3 to 4 years. The 3D looks okay. People still think this is like 100% best 3D quality. It's still not. Since getting the new systems and the high-speed cables, it has added something extra to it that I didn't see before. But I still wouldn't say this is the best. But it is good to watch. Prometheus is letterbox, by the way. R.I.P.D. 3D, great movie, and the 3D letterbox, fantastic, 50-50 in-depth pop-out. Star Trek Into Darkness, now this film kind of pees me off. When I first watched this in 3D, it was fantastic letterbox quality. Second time watching it in 3D, I didn't feel as impressed. Then the third and fourth time, it just feels flat. I don't know what's happening with this movie, and it can't be my eyes because I still see all the other movies the same. This one, for some reason, just starts looking weaker and weaker with each watch. I don't know why that is, but when I first watched it, it was great. Now I'm not so sure. Star Wars The Force Awakens. Yes, this is a custom sleeve. Some of these movies are going to have custom sleeves for the main reasons that I explained before. It's either they didn't have sleeves, or the sleeves were damaged, or they were in big boxes. You know, so this one, it was in that big collector's box. Yeah, that's just in a sleeve that I made. Great letterbox 3D, and actually a really good movie. I really enjoyed this. Followed by The Last Jedi. Letterbox 3D. 3D was amazing. Story, I had some faults with the story, but there were some things in this that I really loved. Transformers Dark of the Moon. This was a custom sleeve sent by Sasha. I ain't got time to bleed. Go check out his channel. Yeah, 3D for this is okay. There are certain moments where, because this one wasn't filmed in IMAX 3D cameras, this is what I read. This isn't like my, I know this. This is what I read online. This was a conversion into 3D for the cinema. So the 3D isn't at its best in this movie, which sucks because it has a lot of moments where the 3D had great potential but missed out on it. Then it follows up by the next two, which are also in sleeves that was designed by Sasha. Age of Extinction and The Last Night. Both of these are fantastic IMAX 3D movies. Dark of the Moon is just letterbox all the way through. These are both IMAX 3D movies, and the IMAX 3D is fantastic on both of these, because these were actually filmed in IMAX cameras. It's really good. Really good. Worth watching that way. Following up to Transformers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3D. Yet again, I think these two movies in 3D, letterbox, these follow that Legend of Hercules. If I was to ever show people what the best letterbox 3D movies were, it'd be Legend of Hercules and these two, and I think there's one more on this list which is after these two. Both 100% great movies, great amazing 3D, 50-50 in-depth and pop-out. And what can you expect? You wanted big mutant Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to fight each other, and to fight bad guys, and that's what you got, You can't ask for more, and that's what you're asking for. Next up is Valerian. One of my favourite film of 2017. 3D is 100% perfect, 50-50. Letterbox, but I don't care because it was worth it. And Sasha, I know if you're watching this, yes, Rihanna was in it. She played Bubbles. We know, you horny git. And the last little 3D section. This is just the 3D section. Oh my god, 13 minutes. Warcraft, my favourite movie of 2016. This just outbeat X-Men Apocalypse. That's how great this movie was to me. I know a lot of people have its faults with it, but to me, there's nothing wrong with this movie. Story, characters, action, everything is freaking amazing. And yet again, on a first watch, I thought the 3D was lacking, and then I got the new systems and everything, and I tried it again, and then wow, the in-depth looks so much better. There's no pop-outs in this movie, not that I've seen. It's majority all in-depth, but you don't care because you're so lost in the magic of the movie. You tend to forget about it, so yeah. Okay, so that's just the 3D section. Oh, these 2D sections are so much bigger. But unfortunately, as you can tell by this pile, the 3D pile, my fantasy and sci-fi movies were together. For some strange reason, I reorganized my movies recently and I forgot to put the sci-fi and the fantasy movies in one category, so they've kind of been separated, which is kind of annoying. But let's just go through this anyway. It doesn't matter which order they're in as long as they get shown. Army of Darkness, which was actually called Evil Dead, but they changed it to Bruce Campbell versus Army of Darkness. I don't know why they did that. It's Evil Dead 3. It's a fantastic, funny movie. I'm pretty sure this is the one that has the alternate ending. Yeah, I think it's got the two versions of the movie on it as well. Yeah. beautiful creatures. What can I say? This is Twilight, but better. Cirque du Freak, the vampire's assistant, which it sounds like it's not in there. Well, it's in there. It's very light. Based on Darren Shan's books, which I am a massive fan of that guy. Don't know who Darren Shan is or what his books look like. There's probably a picture here. Fantastic author. Clash of the Titans. I'm a big Sam Worthington fan. And I actually really enjoyed this movie. Dorian Gray. Not a big fan of this movie, but it holds significance in my heart because I watched the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and I love that movie. And the character Dorian Gray was in that, and I thought, okay, heard this movie was coming out, and then it got released on the 9th of the 9th of the 9th. So the relevance it has to me is I was born 9th of the 9th, 93. So that's the reference to me, like that pie. That pie has. Oh, I said that pie, I'm thinking of food. That part of the reference. Dragon Wars, here we go, more of my thing, Dragon Wars. Good movie, weird but good movie. Dragon Heart, a better movie, one of the best dragon movies to exist. Fantastic, Sean Connery as a dragon. Edward Scissorhands, sleeve was designed by Sasha again. One of my favourite Johnny Depp movies. Aragon, another great dragon-based movie. Green Mile, only watched that 2 years ago. Yeah, my first time watching it was 2 years ago, and I actually fell in love with it. Hereafter, a film where Matt Damon plays a psychic. Very weird movie. The Imaginarium. Oh no, hang on. The Imaginarium of Dr. Panasius. I can never say anything right. Funny story about this movie is me and Alice started watching this, and then there's nothing wrong with the disc. I can even show you. Right. Yeah. Other than dust now because it's been on the shelf, but there's nothing really wrong with it. Just dust, right? I just bought the disc. It was completely clean. Put it in. It got to the scene where Heath Ledger was hanging by the neck on the bridge, and the movie just turned itself off. My Blu-ray player turned itself off, and it wouldn't let me play the movie after that. So that's staying there. Pan's Labyrinth, not a big fan. I wish I was, but I'm not. Seventh Son, I've seen this once. I was not that keen on it, but apparently there is a 3D release of this somewhere, so I'm going to have to look out for that and see if I do enjoy it. Sucker Punch. Why didn't this get a 3D release? Apparently, it was this close to getting one. I think it's Zack Snyder, yeah. Apparently he was this close to putting out a 3D version until they decided that the 3D version might not sell, so they scrapped the idea. This would have been freaking fantastic. Oh, you missed an opportunity. Another one of my favourite movies, Super 8, just a fantastic story. And I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did. It's a really good setting as well. In my top 10 favourite movies, or at least in my top 5 of the most emotional movies I've ever seen in my life, you hear me talk about it a lot. The Lovely Bones, starring Saoirse Ronan. Just wow. Red Riding Hood, starring Amanda Seyfried. I actually really enjoyed this telling of Red Riding Hood. It surprised me how good it was. Next up is a very quick set of movies that no one's going to give a shit about, so let's speed through them. Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse, Breaking Dawn Part 2, there we go. I like Twilight, so yeah. Oh, a new movie I got recently for a very cheap price. I'm so glad I finally own it. A little peed off at the ending. I think the ending sucks, but the movie itself was actually really good. Alien Covenant. I don't own any of the other aliens, and I'm looking out for them. I've got AVP, I've got Prometheus, I've got all three Predator movies, but I don't have Alien to Alien Resurrection. I need to look out for it. But I really did enjoy this movie. It's a pity that the ending sucked. Well, speaking of AVP, there you go. It's right here. I like. Fuck what anyone else says to me. I like this movie. I think they did okay. Yet again, showing that Aaron Eckhart as an actor has grown on me. Battle Los Angeles. I thought this was a good alien invasion movie. Blade Runner. Good movie. Chronicle. Also a very good movie. District 9. Probably my favourite alien invasion movie. Ex Machina. I've never seen. Fifth Element. My favourite Mila Jovovich movie. Yeah. The Guyver, Arrow release. They need to release Dark Hero. Come on, Arrow. We want the sequel like this. And then, there you go. Oh, right, wrong order. Predator, Predator 2, and Predators. Then we have the RoboCop remake. I am not a fan of this movie specifically. I think they did some things really well. Some things are really cool about this movie. It does not stand anywhere close to the original trilogy. Then we have RoboCop, RoboCop 2, and RoboCop 3. Skyline, in my top 5 favourite alien invasion movies ever. I no longer own Beyond Skyline because that was a piece of shit abomination that deserves to be melted. Star Trek The Wrath of Khan, Star Trek Nemesis, Star Trek 2009, J.J. Abrams, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope, Star Wars Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. There we go. It's all them done. Stargate. Star Trek, Star Wars, Stargate. Oh man, I really should have owned Star Kid on Blu-ray if they ever released that, I'll tell you. Terminator Salvation. I'll explain something afterwards. And then the last two is Transformers and Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. Right, so that's it. That's all them Blu-rays done. Bloody hell, 23 minutes. It's a long time. For anyone who's probably thinking, what happened to your T2 3D Blu-ray or your Terminator Genesis 3D Blu-ray? When we first moved here, our money was stopped for a while, and we had nothing. And for some reason, Terminator 2 3D was something I could sell, that I'd get quite a bit of money for, just to put some money on the electric and to get some shopping in. That and Terminator Genesis made just enough to do both of those things. So I thought, okay, well, I'll get rid of those and I can get them back in the future when they're a bit cheaper. So yeah. I will get them back in the future, but as for now, they're gone. Anyway, that is the end of this video. If you enjoyed this video and previous videos, don't forget to strike the like for future videos. If you're new to my channel and only seen a couple of my videos, click the subscribe button down below. I'd surely appreciate it. Anyway, take care, you wonderful, wonderful people. And I will see you next time.